television should, number one, tell the truth.
Yeah.
But number two, also, it must be authentic.
Mm.
Yes, it must know its target audience, but also make content that's gonna inspire people. You know, make it aspirational as well.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Now I Know podcast with myself, Karabo Wahamajola. Remember, the aim is to inform you and educate you about the creative media industry. Now, our next guest lives by these words: our Father who art in heaven. But he continues to say, I art on earth. He is an executive producer, a content creator, he is an actor and television presenter. I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Zola Hashatsi.
Yes. Now I know. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
Thank you. What an intro.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't believe it. He did it once.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you did it, but it's fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time, sir, to be with us.
Hey, man, I had to. I mean, I've seen the work that you put out on this podcast, and it's stories that need to be told.
Yeah.
You know, it's not finicky, physical, glossy stories.
Yeah.
It's real arty stories. And
Yeah.
I've watched beautiful episodes that you've done.
Yeah.
So keep it up, and
Awesome.
I'm glad that you chose me for it. Now I know.
Awesome. I feel your story needs to be documented.
Okay.
Because you've invested so much in the industry. I mean, it's almost 20 years.
It's 20 years,
20 years.
in next year.
Yeah.
We're on 19 and a half.
19, yeah. I mean, you've done incredibly well within the industry.
Why, thank you.
You respect every craft for literally what it is.
Yeah.
Our Father who art in heaven, you art on earth.
Yeah.
Expand on that.
It's the Lord's Prayer. You know, when we do the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven, that's what he does. And that's what he did by creating and making everything that we see on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And on the seventh day he rested.
Yeah.
You know, but there's no rest for the wicked with us. So we continue to art on Earth.
On earth.
Which is what we do with it, be it music, be it movies, be it TV, be it theater, be it paintings.
Yeah.
So we constantly art, but then we forget who entertains the entertainer at the end.
Yeah.
That's why in the industry you'll find a lot of depressed souls because even during lockdown, we were the essential workers. We were arting. The TV was still on. The radio space was still on.
Yeah.
The music was still being performed.
Yeah.
Whether it was live, wearing masks, whether it was online, you know. But we art. That's where I take the inspiration. I draw it from him because he is the one that made me this artiste.
Yes.
Which is different from, because in this space we find celebrities.
Yeah.
And I'm not a celebrity.
And
not
there's
in
a
South
difference
Africa.
between the two.
Yeah, when I came here, no paparazzi was waiting outside for me. Nobody cares in South Africa. We all have problems and bills to pay. So I enjoy and take pride in being a South African artist.
Yeah. Let's take it back.
Yes.
Pimville is where you come from.
Yes.
And on the same street, down the street, your father was there.
Yes.
And you lived with
my paternal.
But how important was it for you to build that healthy relationship between yourself and your dad? Meanwhile, there wasn't a bit of a good.
There was a Chiefs and Barretts. There was a Soweto derby happening there.
You say Kimubango.
Kimubango, yes. Mubango is when they are fighting for the child.
Yeah.
But I mean, first of all, with my father's side, give you a backstory. So my father was the teacher, my mom was the student, and this was the homework that was brought to school. So
the result,
this is the result. Yes. I mean, sadly, Mubango is ending as well. We'll get to that. So yeah, I grew up with my mother's side because my father's side they didn't believe that you know. So after years of the families not getting along, when I can understand and speak and have seen what happens to people that don't necessarily take liking or take their father's surname, because now you're going to come back 20 years and things are going south, and now you want to know your father's side, whom by the way is late now. So I made sure that I had to go to the family. I mean, as you said, it's just literally up the road, or down the road, depending on how you look at it.
You look at it, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to my father's side. I had a nice meeting with them, and that's when I started. Little kids are span. They're like, no, I had this span. Well, we're gonna do some feng shui because I want to start using Motsiri. That's my father's surname. So I grew up using the Hashatsi surname, but I felt as a guy I need to, because this is my father. We don't need no DNA. I look like him, big head like him. So I ended up. That's why I've got a nice Felicia Mabuza sample. I've got a double barrel, Zola Hashatsi Motsiri. Because we can't have one-sided ancestors, because things will fall apart. I mean, we black. I'm all about spirituality. So I ended up going to the family side, and I had to speak to my mom's side with, yo guys, I need to get along with these people because I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for y'all. Y'all don't need to get along and hold hands and have lunches, but let's do this for me so I can know Amadlozi from my father's side and know Amadlozi from my mother's side, which I'm grateful and thankful. They brought me up, took me to school, gave me free reign on what I wanted to do, but there was still something missing. From my father's side, I ain't asking them for money. I'm not asking them. I just want to be recognized by the spirits from that side. So I ended up having that surname, and I get along with them. I still visit them. I got no beef, no chicken, no fish. Yeah.
But you seem like you had a very colorful childhood. You moved to 6 different schools.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I was not the problem. I hope I was not the problem.
Yeah, I mean, you went to Annandale, Lenasia, Melville.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've done the black schools, Kasi, Kotembu. I went to Malvern with the purple blazer, purple hat, with the Behold the Dawn, where it was a beautiful school. I went to Spectrum in Annandale, with the colors, my bro. So it's thick, I went to with the Indians, with Labor Lenasia, Azara, and Zodiac. So I gelled with the blacks, with the whites, with the Indians, because we are African, we colorful, it's a rainbow nation. So I moved to those schools because my mom kept on moving spaces and places. But every time she moved, I was there. As men, we are mama's boys. I grew up with my mom. I'm still a mama's boy. We are all, I think, as men also, we need to be comfortable in knowing that we have a feminine side because we come from our mother's womb. We come from our mother's vagina. We come through it. So we are mama's boy. That's why in most cases and families, you'll see that sons are more closer to mothers and daughters are close to fathers. That's why you will hear daddy's little girl or mama's boy. So I moved along with my mom, and that's why there's nothing I wouldn't do for that woman, and I know for a fact there's nothing she wouldn't do for you.
Still on that, we're still going to unpack your story.
Yes.
Still going to unpack your story and learn more about the creative media industry right after this. And we're still unpacking the story of Mr. Zola Hashatsi Motsiri.
Yes,
we have to.
You're one of the few people that, first of all, don't butcher Hashatsi.
Yes.
Because Hashatsi, as much as I grew up in Nabo, Dlamini, or Sibakulu, Hashatsi is not a Shabalala. It's not a Zulu. It's not a Zulu. People about Hashatsi. So thank you for saying Hashatsi. And thank you for adding Motsiri.
I respect people's surnames because it carries
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. It
Yeah.
carries a lot. I remember when I did an interview with Samela like Boy.
Oh, I love her.
Important for her, for me to pronounce her surname accurately.
Boy.
Yeah, we've already unpacked the fact that you moved into different schools.
Yeah.
And we've already unpacked the fact your family dynamic.
Yeah.
But I want us to come to this now.
Yes.
You were bored most of the time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were bored.
Yes.
Most subjects that you
Because
did.
maths, why am I solving X and Y
Yeah.
and algebra and Pythagoras and trigonometry?
Yeah.
Science,
Yeah.
Also, while we were writing in cursive, and I wrote so well in cursive.
Yeah.
Also, Afrikaans, sharp, I love language. I actually got a distinction in Afrikaans, one of the most useless distinctions I could ever have, because we're not living in Holland.
Yeah.
I mean, Sierra Delan is gone. We're not going to speak
Yeah.
Egoli plek van goud is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe Kelders van Geheime.
Yeah.
You know, but I got bored. I mean, that I was
But
excelling
there's
in
Gig
language.
Net TV.
Yeah.
There's Gig Net TV.
Yeah, but have you seen my brownness?
But you could be one of the first.
No, it's fine. It's okay. No, it's okay. We'll keep it ghetto fabulous.
Ghetto fabulous.
Yeah, so I was bored with biology. I was bored with accounting. You know, I mean, it comes in handy now because we need literacy education in this industry, especially. But I got bored with those subjects, and I mean, I loved history. I loved geography. You know, before GPS and stuff. But I love language more, and I was bored to a point where, you know, I'm not advising the kids to do it, but I used to bunk school to go to the market theater and watch plays.
You're gonna go there?
And got inspiration from there. I was bored. I used to bunk school and come to the SABC to pitch shows. And it made sense. I was happy. Anything having to do with the arts, be it TV, film, theater. I remember taking papers, classified. I would watch for agents and auditions, you know, because we used to have papers. When newspaper was still newspapering in this country, when print media was print media, I used to read a lot, you know. I was part of the book quiz, speech contest, poetry. I enjoyed everything with literacy. And I was at my happiest place, go SABC, go Market Theatre. But I mean, I had to finish school. I even tried to get into the National School of the Arts by grade 10, where you have to go there on a Saturday and audition, you know, music. You sing, you act, you dance.
You had to be a triple
threat.
Yeah.
So I could act, I can act, could present, I could dance, but honestly, I can't sing. You know, I can. You know when you're singing with the artist, and then you turn the artist down and you listen to your voice, and you're like, I can't. Oh my God. If this was Idols, it's a no from me.
Let's take it back.
We can mime. But I don't. When you mime, you don't give authenticity.
You're not.
No.
You're not hearing you. Yeah. You say that you used to bunk school to go to the Market Theatre. What were some of the plays that you watched there that inspired you? I know Sarafina was one of them.
Sarafina was one of them.
Yeah.
It's when Mam Doris CB was playing Mistress as a PET. Amazing. Mam Leleti Kumalo was there, Sarafina. The stage, the lighting, the setting, it was beautiful. You know, I'm not sure if Kanyo was there. Yes, but it was the energy of the artist. You know, it was drawing me sitting there front row seat. I wanted to jump on stage because I was excited. I'm like, this is my happy place. This is where I want to be. So Sarafina was one of them. There was a play, I think it was 10 Bush by the late great, my former physical theater teacher, the late great Abraham Natisi Shabangu. Amazing. For a big guy with a big belly, he was very active on stage. I watched Begim Kwanazi also had a play there. So there was still plays. People were going to theater, you know. So those were the plays that made also Janice Hanneman's pantomime all the time. Aladdin. When Desmond Dube were flying there. So I loved it because now this was at Joburg Theatre, where the theatre can move and spin. And there's cars there, and there's Peter Pan flying through. And I'm like, guys,
You felt at home.
I want to be here.
You felt like a fish in the sea.
Listen, maybe a fish tank, but
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what the animals are doing now in Cape Town. They're getting out of the sea.
Yeah, they are.
They're roaming the streets. Yeah.
They are. But you say that your parents did not force you to study or do anything you didn't want. How important is that for children?
It's very important. It's very important, number one, to have parents that are present.
Yeah.
And the parents that will give you the leeway, go figure yourself out. If you make mistakes, you can always come back. But I was not forced to do medicine. I was not forced to do engineering. I was not forced to do accounting. They said, clearly you like this arts thing of yours. Go on with your bad self. And I went with my bad self. And when they saw it, they're like, okay, you happy, you doing it. So it's important for parents to support their children and whatever that they want to do. And I love these parents that are there, whether it's soccer moms, whether it's they take you to piano lessons at a young age, music lessons. It's important it means a lot when you get the validation from your parents, because they are honest. Before it goes out to the internet, to the mainstream media, to the audience, they are your first audience. They can, if you watch Idols, some parents would stand outside and they'll be like, we've been telling you.
Yeah.
But then maybe it's better if he hears it from Unati, Somizi, Gareth.
But you've already said that at the grade 10,
yes,
you were pitching shows at the SABC.
Yes.
What did you want to see on television at the time?
I remember I pitched 4 shows and 2 got accepted and 2 got declined. It was crazy to pitch back in those days because you walk into the room, there's 4 people there, they give you about a minute to pitch each show. Everyone, poker face, straight face, no smile, no nothing.
Also, how do you find out these channels of pitching and?
Hey,
you were quite young.
I was an inquisitive chacharach, as Julius would say, kid. I read a lot. We had libraries. We had encyclopedia. We used Google for the right things. So I used to sit on the SABC website. I used to sit on the ETV website. I used to ask. When I go to the market, I want to ask. I want to meet this person. I was a big movie buff, so I'll go to the cinema, go Southgate, and every time I watch a movie, I would wait for the credits because I want to know who's responsible, who did what way, who's the casting person, who's the lighting, who did the beautiful sound, who did the makeup. So I wanted to be in the know, and I wanted to introduce myself to all these people that I went to. So it's a matter. The information is here. So it's about Googling and finding out.
Social media was not big at the time.
There was no social media.
There was no social media.
So
you find, let's say, Lala Tuku is the head, Miss Lala Tuku is the head of content at the SABC.
Yeah.
Okokasi. How to that's what baffles me.
You Google the name.
Yeah.
And you find out Barry, SABC, Auckland Park. You go there.
You go there.
You go to the security. You like, I'm looking for
this person.
And also remember Intronipo.
Also encourage.
Because I felt like this is where I want to be. This is my destiny. I'll figure it out completely, but this is where I wanted to be. So back to the shows. So I pitched 4 of them, 2 got accepted, 2 would decline. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue with the 2 that got accepted because recession then hit South Africa there. So they froze taking new shows. But what I wanted to see, I had a show that was called Soapy Situations. So I was always intrigued by the set. When you're watching it from home, you think, New Horizons, it's a building. You're thinking, first time I went up because it was Habo Karabo Moroka. Ganti guys, this is just cardboard.
It's just artificial walls that are moving around.
So I wanted to visit New Horizons, visit Queen Moroka setting, visit Achi Moroka, visit Mam Lilian Tube next door. So it was about getting to know Sophie behind Queen. So I was always intrigued by the person behind the character. So I wanted to visit all these different sets, if you can, your fileos, your school is nice, your was a weekend. But this was just mainly for Soapy, because I was interested in because Soapies back then, back then they were like a proper 9 to 5 for the artists. It was a comfortable, stable job if you got a Soapy job. So I was just interested in knowing those characters and unveiling them. You know, like, I mean, Uncle Dali Tambo, was it Dali? People of the South, who would give you a pillow at the end of the show. I hope you'll give me a pillow at the end of the show. Yeah, and a cap.
Yeah. It was Uncle Dali.
Yeah, so I wanted to unpack the actors behind that. And another one I created was Cast a Spell.
Yeah.
So Cast a Spell was like a spelling bee.
Yeah.
You know, because in anything that you do, education is important. Yeah. So I wanted our black kids to know how to, including myself, to spell. You know, to compete with other schools. Yeah. There were shows back then about schools, you know, so I was interested in schools competing each other. Soul Buddies, Teens on a Tightrope.
Yes, a whole lot of shows.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be introduced to people like your Salamina
Musese, your Tsulufelo Wachuma.
Yes.
Yeah, they were beautiful actors back then.
Amazing actors. I'm sitting and I'm like, yo, he was so ahead of himself.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you were basically wanting to cover the behind the scenes of what people would see on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And it takes someone that's intelligent to actually come up with that idea, because at the time nobody really knew, okay, this is how things are looking like behind the scenes.
Because they believed the character.
They believed
the character to a point where Sis Pamela was slapped for playing Tsiki Lukene. Because they thought, oh gosh, you killed your son Usandili. Oh my gosh, you are evil. Like, no, it's acting. It's the art. So I wanted to bring the humanity, the human factor into these characters. So I guess I've been producing since I was in school.
You were, certainly, you were. And the late great Miss Munin Lee.
Oh,
the giant of the industry. Man, she's iconic.
Munin was big, literally and figuratively. And all the best actors, according to me, were from MLA. And it was not easy to get into MLA. So I made sure that when I was graduating at the Market Theatre Lab, Munin is there.
Which play were you doing when she spotted you at the Market Theatre?
So when you graduate, there's an ensemble play. So we all, as an ensemble, do a play. Like all the 19 students that were I was 19 with me. All the students, we have a play, but we have our own set monologues. And then we've got a dance piece. And then my favorite, we've got a music piece where we sing. So the beauty of singing in a choir, you know, because I think in Tena, Mamacho, I'm not sure if it's first tenor or second tenor, but shout out to Sis Temi, who was my music teacher. So I think we were doing God in Pieces when Munin, because you couldn't miss Munin, and I saw her. I was peeping through the curtains before when people were coming in.
Did she have a cigar on her hand?
No, it was inside the lab, so she didn't have a cigar.
You know, because apparently she always had a cigar.
She was big on cigars, and she's in the office. There's like old bottles of whiskey.
She was classic.
She had a big cat in the office. She had bangles. And they are shaker. She had a Nokia 3310, not a vibrator. So when you were sitting with her, all you would hear is and in her office, the chair is this big, and the desk is this big, and there's all these pictures. There's a big statue of the Oscar, and you've got a little chair there. So she was looking at you like this.
So intimidating.
And that's what, and then she looks you in the eyes, and you have to make eye contact. You know, it's like I'm here. So I think
she had such a huge, she had such a huge, intimidating presence.
She had a huge intimidating presence and aura and energy. But she was about talent. She is the reason that Terry Petro and the late great Presley were discovered and did Tsotsi. she was about the arts.
Yeah.
She was about what we are fighting for now,
Yeah.
you know, for the actors' residual,
Yeah.
for the actors, for the fees,
Yeah.
for the actors to be taken care of. So you wanted to be in her books. If you're an artist, you had. She was not about celebrities. She was about artists. She was about thespians.
And when you look at, you know, characters or rather
Yeah.
talents that comes out of her agency,
Oh,
those are performers.
Yes.
We count people like the late Presley Chweneyagae.
yes.
We count people like your
Kenneth Nkosi is
Kenneth
there.
Nkosi.
Brad John Gunn
John
is there.
Gunn is there.
Dorothy Ann is there.
Dorothy Ann is there.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting her name. Nambi Champumla.
Nambi Jampumlana is from there. Just go to MLASA.com. You'll see,
You'll see
the talent.
The talent, and
Yeah.
these are performers. These are not celebrities. These
That's
are not
why
people-
it's very hard to get into that agent.
Yeah.
It's either you should need or you should have studied a BA in the arts, or she has spotted the talent and she will find it like a diamond from the rough. She polishes talent, she represents talent. If you're not happy or not treated well on set, you're like, Munin, and what you say, Munin, she will be present on set. She will take you out of that production if you're not well taken care of. She wants us to be happy.
Let's go ahead of ourselves a bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was watching the old Felicia Mabuza Subtle show.
Yeah.
They were talking about the rights of actors.
Yes.
And Munin Lee was there.
Yeah.
I think I discussed this with Miss Kimberly Stark.
Yeah. Love
Munin Lee was there. Mekweni Chiume was there.
The late great Patrick Shah was there.
Yeah. Nomhlen Konyela was there.
The late oh.
There were so many
Yeah.
iconic figures. And she was there standing for the rights of actors.
Yeah.
I was like,
And we are talking 90s.
90s.
When Sis Felicia was there.
yeah.
Yes.
90s. And there she was as a talent agent.
Yeah.
For me, that was so iconic to
Yeah.
say she is a talent agent
Mhm.
to begin with. She's standing for the rights of. She's not a performer herself,
Yeah.
but she's standing for the. I think that spoke volumes.
Yeah, because she's there, she's present.
Yeah.
She's not sitting in a big office with
Yeah.
a cigar
Yeah.
and busy brushing a cat and having a glass
She's
of
not
whiskey.
saying, she's not saying guys work.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you get.
It's like ball.
Like ball.
No.
You know.
she was present there, and she was present until unfortunately she passed on because of COVID.
Yeah.
But but even now when I go to the office, I can sense her aura.
Her aura.
It lives on. So she fought then. 2025, we are still fighting for the artists.
Yeah, you are. Let's go back. We're being ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
So after you joined MLA, of
Yeah.
course, 2005, you did an outsurance advert.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it under the agency? Yeah, Morning.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
How did
think.
that come about?
Which one?
The
outsurance.
advert.
I think it was my Chacharak self calling these, because I think before I joined MLA,
Yeah.
I was with G3 models.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be a model.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 1.7 or 1.6.
Yeah. But you act on F.
So, well, I mean,
yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
You see, a presenter that listens.
Yeah.
So I think I joined G3, and G3 will send me out on these ads. I remember doing a stock audition, and then outsurance came about, and I think I got it through G3.
Okay.
But then I was like, "Hi guys, I don't want to just do ads. I mean, ads is great, quick way to make money, like voiceovers. But I want to art. I want to hit my mark and square up and
Yeah.
deliver the lines,
Yeah.
you know. So join an acting agency. So no, outsurance was separate from MLA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Munin was about just sending you to, you know, acting. I mean, there's presenting, there's
Yeah.
acting,
But
and
you
yes,
speak.
there'll be the occasional ads, auditions. And one thing I love about Munin, she told me to not be everywhere all the time. You know, so you can't be doing. You can't now. I want to go to Generations and Siabe Dilan and Isidingo and. She knew what she would sit down with you. We'll have catch up sessions, and she's like, "Where do you see your career going? What is it that you want to do?" She didn't just want to send briefs every time they came. So you will tell her, "With no Moon, I don't want to do ads," or "No Moon, I don't want to do presenting. I want to do these. I want to do the because I've got comedy timing, so I want to do comedy." Or if you're the serious actor, I want to do the serious roles. Or sometimes you push yourselves, I want to do the action roles. So it's your agent must know you, so that you also know yourself. So now she will test you to see, do you want to be a thespian or do you just want to be famous? Because some people just want to walk the yellow, red carpet, black carpet, and party. But yeah, she wants to know what kind of actor are you.
Let's 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
I think that will serve as educational, element of this chat.
Okay.
Number 1, you mentioned that she told you that you shouldn't be everywhere.
Yeah.
How important is that? Because today we're seeing the same person doing 3 or 5 shows.
Yes.
Aliwa.
Yeah.
You know.
Not much when you are still auditioning.
Yeah.
You're still waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah. How important is that? Because I think I once had this chat
Yeah.
with this other lady I want to mention.
Okay.
And she was saying that is quite risky because you stand a chance of taking this character
Yeah.
to that show
Yes.
and that character to
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah. True. That's why some people they complain. Oh my gosh, I can't get out of character. Character. Even after shooting, you're still on character. Oh man, whatever character you're playing. So it's important for you because you need to be authentic to the character you play. There's actors we know that have played the same character for 20 years.
Yeah.
How difficult would it be for a Brooke Logan, Catherine, to play another character?
It would.
How
It would be.
hectic would be a Deidre who played Marlena,
Yeah.
Dr. Marlena, to play another character?
Yeah, it would be.
So
Now you're
it's
painting a blue picture.
yeah. So
it's
it's
clear what you say.
you need to be authentic to this character that you're playing. Which when I leave the set, when I leave this building, and I wipe off the makeup and leave the costume, because what we do as actors is we literally become naked in front of an audience and say, take me, this is me. So when we wear a canvas.
Yeah.
So each time we paint it, you play this character and you paint it and you paint it. Eventually now this canvas is messy. So you need to be sure of yourself that when you play this character, you wipe the canvas clean and you can imprint another different character. So it's important not to be everywhere, unless everywhere all the time. Unless you want to be famous. People want to be famous.
People
will have
do.
5 shows, and John, it's your invoices. It's we all have bills to pay.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure that you're doing due diligence to that character, to that show.
Yeah.
Because I can't watch you on a Sisutu show, but I can still remember you from that Xhosa show.
Xhosa show.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I hope I've answered.
You did. You
Yeah.
certainly did. You certainly did. I think you've sort of expanded on the importance of staying with one show and doing justice to like one character.
Yeah.
And that's so important. So 2006, you then join iCruise.
Yes.
Hosting it alongside with
Peltusi.
Yeah. How was the experience there?
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was beautiful because number one, iCrew was live.
Yeah.
So I love live TV. So my first presenting gig, live show. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. From auditioning 200, 300 people to making it to top 5, to top 10, and then top 5.
Yeah.
And then top 2. I'm like, hi man, come now. Let's just give it to me now. I can't be catching a taxi and coming here all the time. Because also getting to that show was crazy. Because I previously auditioned for Tsotsi, but I didn't get it because you didn't see me there. So to iCrew and making it to all these top 10, top 5, it was such a mission to get there because there's a time I had to go there for top 5. There was a taxi strike, Now I have to make means and call someone and pay this amount to make sure that I arrive there on time. But the second time I made it for top 2, the taxi, what you call it? My taxi
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh, it's gonna take me an hour and I can't be late because I'm very sensitive with time. We can never get back people's time.
Yeah.
Now I had to, and I remember there was another lady in the taxi. I ended up giving the driver, I'm like, driver, nayi imali bhatala lapho ngitaxi cela
Asambe.
sambe C2
Asambe.
now siyabhatalela
Yeah.
let's just go
Asambe.
athi
Yeah.
no, the point is to arrive alive got
Yeah,
short drive
yeah,
sure
yeah.
so now I pay for the taxi to make sure that I arrive there on time
Yeah.
and working on iCrew was great because sometimes it was Pearl and I and then eventually became Pearl on Fridays and me on the other Friday 3 till 3:30 on SABC3
Yeah.
that was fun because it was a live interactive game show, cell phone show, when the viewers, the kids were downloading polyphonic ringtones. I don't think this generation understand polyphonic wallpapers. I don't think they understand screensavers. I don't think. Yeah, so it was a fun show. It was a young, light-hearted, fun show. And it saddens me now because we don't have kids TV anymore now. Yeah. But that was fun. That was great. I did it for like a year. Yeah, I did it for a year, and then when the show ended,
You went.
I was supposed. No, the show ended, but then it was supposed to come back. Then they're like, how are we gonna replace you because you're not gonna come back? I'm not gonna come back because I was shooting at Red Pepper. At Red Pepper, they were shooting crazy, so they'd seen my work. So when the show ended on Friday. They were like, yo, we're starting a new show with Pearl with the idea. It's Crazy World Live. Would you like to do it? So I was unemployed Saturday, Sunday, Monday I was employed. I'm like, look at God.
So this is 2007.
This is 2007.
Yeah.
Because now I can't come back to iCrew. So I call my friend Bretli Bareki, Kamogelo. I'm like, yo, dog, we went to the same school, Golens. We are friends from Kokasi. I know you love the industry. Can you come and replace me? So I brought him. I'm like, bosses, here's Bradley. Don't do auditions. Replace him with me. He flew with the show.
He flew with the show.
Yeah. And then I flew with Crazy. And I had the beautiful 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. Then you joined Rhythm City.
Then Rhythm City came along.
But before we go to Rhythm City, we're gonna go back a bit.
Okay.
And we're gonna go back to when you were pitching shows at the SABC from grade 10.
I love how we're changing gears on this text.
Yeah. We're gonna go back a bit.
Reverse. Okay.
I want us to have a flashback of those moments.
Okay.
Because because this part of your story for me I find very divine.
Okay.
And for me it's supernatural.
Hit me.
Like it's supernatural.
Pinch me.
You were literally pitching shows at the SABC.
Yeah.
Later on, you get to produce shows.
Yeah.
You produced 5 seasons of Single and Mingle.
Okay. Yes.
You produced Show Me Love.
Yes.
On
Oh, crazy.
right. you were part of Trending SA.
Yeah, produced that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you're producing. It was as though you were sending it out there to say, this is where I want to be in the near future, and it happened.
I think it's about being authentic and looking in the mirror and saying things. You prophesy things. You paint your destiny. I mean, we can assist God and the ancestors in terms of shaping our future, but we need to be present.
And we are back. You're still tuned into the Now I Know podcast with myself, Karabo Majola, and we are still unpacking the story of the executive producer of Hashatsi Productions. He's a content creator, actor, TV presenter, Mr. Zola Hashatsi Motsiri.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So before the break, I said we're still gonna unpack your story a lot more.
Yeah.
So you've produced 5 seasons of
S&M,
Single
and Mingle.
Mingle.
Yeah.
So then you said that you moved because you felt like you were not growing.
Yeah.
How do you know when you feel like, or rather when you feel Nje, like, you know what, I'm part of this show, I'm not growing, and I've hit the ceiling and I need to.
I wouldn't say not growing per se, because when we started More to Love, I think it was 2019 when the channel started. We did the whole countdown, with color bars and it counting down from it going live. And we started with Show Me Love, the daily talk show, producing that every day. And then along the way, I created Single and Mingle. because I was inspired by Buzz, by All You Need Is Love. So I came to the CBC, bought those episodes just to watch. Sorry guys, you don't know All You Need Is Love.
All You Need Is Love. Yeah.
It was a great show about love by Uncle Shamla Tandala, Vanessa, and then a series of presenters. And then I watched Dinner Dates UK, all these dating shows, Date My Family. I'm like, I want to do something different. I want to do how you prepare to go to this date. How do you get to this date? If you are driving, I put another camera in the car, you drive there. If you're catching a taxi, we stop a taxi inside the camera with your cameraman. You get inside, you pay, you go to the date. I'm showcasing what is the other party doing as they get ready and how they meet and how this relationship starts.
I remember.
What do you remember? I feel like you're gonna say something that's just gonna off them.
You guys were naughty then.
No!
You guys
I know what you're gonna say. About
would
matching people.
Yeah.
No, those were my junior producers, content producers at the end. I would say sometimes
someone that's contrary.
Yeah, sometimes you must just have a burger with egg.
But now, how do you coordinate that? Because